continuing to see the green, the rebound here. What's your thought on that?
Well, it's nice to see it. I wish we could say that's going to be a permanent trend, but I'm not so sure that's going to be the case, as we've been talking about.
Yeah.
As long as there's news coming out leading to more uncertainty, I think the market is going to react accordingly. So I think the message to everyone has to be to stay calm in the grand scheme of things. There's people getting sick, and there's unfortunately people who have passed away. But in the big picture, we're clearly overreacting to what's going on.
But it seems, people are reacting, and we're seeing that in the economy as well. Different than the stock market, but they are very much so related. Can you kind of explain where one direction could go, how that would impact the other as well?
So with the stock market, people are looking at, let's say, their net worth, and they're looking at their 401k, or perhaps they're looking at a 529 plan, and they see that number going lower and lower and lower. But that is not, if you don't need that money today, there's no reason that you have to be overly concerned. That's the market, one way of looking at the market. If we look at what's going on in the economy, that's a different story, because as businesses are shutting down or seeing a reduction in traffic and customers and those types of things, you have a situation where people who are living paycheck to paycheck are really going to feel it. If we look at the gig economy, all the people who are moonlighting out there, are those jobs disappearing? Many people need that to make ends meet.
Yeah.
And if we look at the traffic outside right here in New York City, there's a substantial decrease in traffic and foot traffic. People are just not going out.
Oh, it's unreal. We were going to the lunch place yesterday. No one was inside there, and it spreads outside. Broadway, obviously, completely shut down. The Masters just sent out a release that they're shutting down their play. This continues. My question for you is this. It is bad to see what's happening with the markets, but from, again, an average American perspective, when you see these sports teams, Broadway shutting down, MLB, NBA, NHL, obviously the Masters shutting down, that's obviously affecting the minds of everyday Americans as well.
It is. Look, the economy in many ways is a state of mind. When people feel good, when they feel confident, when they feel that their job is going to be there tomorrow, they're much more likely to go out and spend. And that's what keeps the economy moving. When people start to build up a fear or uncertainty related to the future, and what we see by literally everything shutting down, people are pulling back and they're hoarding, not just a toilet paper and other things, but they're hoarding their money. They don't want to spend anything because they don't know what's going to be there tomorrow. And really, it is not the virus that's causing this. It's the fear of the virus, and that's the difference.
Yeah, so it seems like maybe right now, obviously not a good time to invest in sort of travel-related stocks or businesses. Clorox could be a good option for you right now. But are there any other, companies that you're keeping your eye on?
Yeah, I've said this before, and I'm seeing it firsthand. Related to Zoom video communications, right? Yeah. So now I'm a professor at Montclair State University, and we have just been told that the remainder of the semester needs to be online. Well, we're basically going to be using telecommunication for every single class until September. So this is causing a permanent change in behavior. So there are going to be more people staying at home and conducting business any way they can by using technology, and Zoom is one of those companies.
That's an interesting point, because technology is going to be something that we're going to have to be forced to be friends with, whether you like it or not, if you're going to start quarantining, because your bottom line is you're not going to have many options outside the house, even if you don't want to quarantine, because everything's pretty much shut down here. And you may think, like, as you were saying, if you're using Zoom, you need a strong internet capability. You may be upping your internet bandwidth.
So what we're seeing right now is a stress test in real time related to what our capabilities are through the internet. And I believe that some of these things are going to become permanent. For example, many professors have not taught online classes. Well, you know what? After what's going on now, It's going to get to every professor in the nation is going to have experience with online teaching, and I think universities want to go in that direction. So we're going to see a change there in our educational system.
Yeah, we now have more resources to make that a possibility. But let's go back to 2008. Did we have the similar response in 30 seconds?
No, we didn't. 2008 was completely different. You had basically a crash in the market, and clearly people took the hit. But this is much different. This is a different type of panic that has far-reaching implications. Health, financial health, and political.
That's huge. That's another thing to talk about. We do have to go. We ran out of time, but that's Dan Geltrude, Managing Director of Geltrude & Company. We appreciate your time. Thanks so much for coming on.